Hello everyone and welcome back to StarMade and welcome back in space to my little spaceship construction site, my little mining vessel over here. And today I'd like to talk about weapons, but before, a little disclaimer. I'm also still new to this game, but I have read myself through the forums and the StarMade wiki, and I've learned a couple of things, and I'd like to share my new knowledge with you guys here. But of course it could be possible that I do things not in the perfect way or in the most efficient way. So if I do something totally wrong, please leave a comment and let me know. All right, and yeah, let's have a look here at the current state of my mining ship construction. As you can see, I continued here the front part and the middle section of the ship, but only the right side because it will make things easier today for our episode. And over here I have a little fighter. It's just a quick design because I have noticed that it is possible that pirates could spawn near you, and so I needed something to defend myself or to run away from them. And to be honest, usually I use option 2. And yeah, as you can see, it's already a bit damaged, so I need to repair this vessel. But yeah, not today. Today I'd like to talk about weapons. Alright, let's go into the ship's interior. I'm already in the build mode, by the way. So it's not necessary for me to enter the core. I'm already entered the core, you can say. And I'd like to add another gun over here. I already have one here, as you can see. A huge anti-matter gun. A line of anti-matter gun blocks. And I'd like to add another one over here. So at first we have to select this weapon's computer. By the way, the interior here is still very basic. I will change things here, I think, later. It's also a bit dark, so maybe I will use some white blocks, but yeah. Weapons computer. Select by pressing C. Now it's highlighted, as you can see. And every anti-matter gun block we add to the ship will be connected to this weapons computer. Yeah, this is very important. Every gun needs to be connected to this computer, and the same goes also for other things or other modules like the salvage beams or missile launches will work the same way. And now we can add a anti-matter gun block over here. And the green line, by the way, you can see here, indicates that this block will be connected to this computer. And yeah, for this it is important. Sorry, it is important that the weapons computer and the anti-matter gun block is connected to the ship and to this core block here. So in our case, it is connected by these whole blocks here to this core block. Alright, now let's add some additional blocks to it, because every time we add a block, the gun will have more damage, less reload speed, and a higher or a longer range. But it will also consume more power. So keep this in mind. And yeah, what will happen if we leave build mode and fire our gun? Yeah, we can see nothing from here, but I've added cockpits to the ship. I've added where they are, the SD cockpit block, and if I use the arrow keys, the left or right key, I can switch between the cockpits I've added here. I will show you the block later. And yeah, from here we have a have a good view. And as you can see, both guns are firing. Why both guns are firing? Because we have two separate groups here, as you can see. The first group is this one here, and the other one is the group over here. And they are also highlighted, and that indicates that both groups are connected to this weapons computer. So this is why both guns are firing separately. They are not connected or directly connected to each other. If I would add, for example, anti-matter gun blocks like this, now I have a connection between these groups created, and if I return to flight mode, we have only one gun firing. Alright, so let's better remove these blocks, because I'd like to have two separate guns. And well, let's say for some reason you like to fire both guns separately. You need a second weapons computer. So let's add a second one over here. It's already highlighted. And if we go to these anti-matter gun blocks and pressing V, we can select them and assign them to the second weapons computer over here. And if we enter flight mode, you can see we have this gun firing, and now we need to assign the second weapons computer to a shortcut. Press T for open the weapons menu, and now we can see this weapons computer. It's assigned to number 1, and let's pick the second one over here and pressing key 2. Now we have the second one here assigned to the shortcut number 2. Let's close the window, and if we activate the shortcut, as you can see, we can fire the second gun. Alright, so let's enter build mode again, because we don't want to have these two guns separately. So let's remove it, and to assign these anti-matter gun group back to this weapons computer, we need to select it with C. Remember, with C you can select a computer or something like this, and with V we can assign each block to this computer. Alright, so pretty easy. And now let's add additional blocks to it, because I'd like to have the same gun on this side, like on the other side. Oh, well, let's better do this with the advanced build mode. Alright. Hello? Come on. What was wrong with you? Can't say. Ah, now it works. Alright. One block too much. By the way, this is the SD computer cockpit. I've added this here. And now I have two powerful guns over here. And the next thing I'd like to do is to add additional guns. But yeah, before, let me explain another interesting thing about the guns. Because, yeah, like I said, as more blocks you add to a group, as more damage the gun will make, or the reload speed will faster, and so on. But it is not necessary to expand the group in X, Y, or Z direction, like with the power core, with the power blocks. So you could also build, instead of this line, a solid block or solid box of anti-matter guns, like this. For example, I can do something like this, or totally randomly, whatever, something like this. This will also work, because now it's simply a larger group. And if we enter flight mode again, ooh, sorry, wrong button. If we enter flight mode with space, of course, and firing this gun, yeah, no problem. The right gun have a little bit more damage and so on, but as you can see, this upper block here over here fires instead of this one. So maybe you don't want this. Let's say you want this block here to fire the anti-matter gun shot. This is also possible to set. Let's stop the rotation, please. Let's enter the build mode again. Sorry, no, not the build mode. We need to leave the ship, of course. And let's, ooh. Now the ship has a weird angle. We need to fly towards our gun over here. And we'd like to set this as our output for the anti-matter gun shot. And we can do this, as you can see here, by aiming on it and pressing R. Now it is, this block will fire the anti-matter gun shot. Okay, let's return to the cockpit and, ooh, yeah. Everything is almost upside down. Can we enter this command room here somehow? Yeah, we can. Alright. Let's enter the ship, and as you can see, now the lower block fires our anti-matter gun shot. Very nice. But yeah, like I said, I simply like to have this single line of blocks. And yeah, like I said, I'd like to add additional guns, but only single anti-matter gun blocks, because I have read something very interesting. Apparently it is the case that, for example, these guns here have almost, or is made out of almost or more than 30 anti-matter gun blocks. If we put every single block here separately, so that we would have 30 single anti-matter gun blocks or 30 single anti-matter gun shots, these 30 shots will have a much higher DPS, damage per second, as this single large gun. I think this is very important, or a good thing to know, because my configuration I'm planning here is like these guns here will be for long range attack, because yeah, as you remembered, every time I add an anti-matter gun block to this group, the range of my anti-matter gun will be extended every time. And these guns here, these single blocks, will have a much lower range, but altogether with this I have a more advanced DPS. And another interesting thing I'd like to do is I'd like to add single blocks this way over here. Now, what will happen? This block will hit this one and this one will hit this one. But apparently, it's also the case, it's not possible to damage your own ship. So, no problem. This anti-matter gun shot will simply go through these blocks and will hit the enemy. So, also very interesting. And I can put shield blocks. Shield, what is the exact name? As the shield disperser. And I could add them between, because shield blocks are very good filler blocks, because it's not necessary to group them together in one large group. They only needs to be connected to your ship. So, and as more shield blocks you have connected to your ship, as more shield hit points you will have. Let's enter the flight mode. Ah, damage. flight mode, space, of course. At first, let's fire some gunshots. Yeah, as you can see, very nice. The whole ship will look like a shotgun later, I think, when it is finished. Yeah, and you can see above our hit points bar in the lower left corner, or on the lower left side of the screen, there is now a grayish bluish bar on top of it. This is the shield capacity, and every time we've got a hit by an enemy, the shield hit points will be decreasing, and it will start to recharge. And when it starts to recharge, it will use power, and as more shield blocks you have added to your ship, as more power it will consume during recharge. Okay, so yeah, I think this is basically everything about weapons. Well, one thing left. Here in our weapons menu, if we will select our weapons computer, here you can see some interesting stats of our weapons: damage and distance and reload speed and so on, for every group. So we added quite a lot of single anti-matter gun blocks. This is the reason why we have so many groups. And you can change things here. For example, you can set the damage output to 20% and add this to the range of your anti-matter gun. But there's apparently a lot of math behind it and a lot of discussions in the forums what is the most efficient way, and I haven't figured it out for the moment. Maybe later, but yeah, for the moment I will leave these here on default. So let's give it a try and let's see what will happen if we will find a enemy later. So let's enter build mode. Yeah, I will continue here in the front part, as you can see. And oh, this is interesting. I made a mistake. This is a power block, but I'd like to have a anti-matter gun here, of course. And yeah, so the main fire power of this ship will be here at the front side, and maybe I will add turrets later to the ship, but this is something for the next episode. And yeah, what else could I explain? Yeah, the salvage beams are working pretty much the same like the anti-matter guns. Also, every time you add a salvage beam block, oh, I need to select the salvage computer, of course. And yeah, like I said, every time I add a salvage beam block, the time of the salvage beam, or the group of salvage beams, will be reduced to salvage a block. I think this was not very well explained. It's like if I add another block to this salvage beam, the time to salvage a block, for example, of the station here in the distance, will be halved. And if I add another one, it will be halved again, almost halved. It's a bit less, but almost halved. So this means as more blocks I've added to the group, the effect will be more and more, or get more and more less. So at some point it makes no sense to add additional salvage beam or salvage blocks to one group. But yeah, I tried with this. I don't know if this is the most efficient amount of salvage blocks, but yeah, I think this is okay for my first ship. And I think this is okay for this episode. So hopefully I made not so many mistakes here, and it is a little help for you to build your own vessel and explore the space in this very interesting and amazing game. And yeah, finally, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.